So I've talked about how time feels like it's speeding up, and I think a lot of us can agree that it feels like time is speeding up. So some of the things that are coming into play, and I just wanted to talk about what energetically I'm feeling or what I've discerned from the situation. So one, we have the Schumann resonance and Earth frequency acceleration. So we actually have the Earth speeding up, and we have with the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's natural frequency, it sits at 7.83 hertz approximately, but that has been fluctuating a lot with spikes and even sustained elevations, which has become more frequent. We also have the Earth's vibration rising, and as it rises, so does the baseline of frequency or baseline of reality. And our biological time processors, like the pineal gland, the heart, and the nervous system, they begin to resonate faster, compressing the perception of time. We're also experiencing ascension and dimensional shifts. So transitioning from a linear 3D timeline to a more spherical and quantum-based multidimensional time stream. So 3D time is experienced as past, present, and future, and that's how we've been experiencing time for all of my life. But timelines in higher dimension, timelines are not linear. They are more experienced as frequencies, and they are accessible through the now moment. So when we anchor more fully into 5D plus awareness, time no longer follows the rules. So what once unfolds, or what once took years to unfold, now can be brought down to weeks or hours, and even like in even hours. So because we are matching the vibration of what we're calling in rather than traveling chronologically to it. So it's not, it takes me 5 months to da 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 and get there. It's, I'm going to collapse timelines and I'm going to get there now and collapse it to be 5 hours instead. There's also DNA activations and oversoul convergence. So many of us are now starting to align with our oversoul and be in that beautiful space of resonance and alignment with our truth. And when we're in that space, as more of those strands of our multidimensional DNA comes online, particularly the time matrix codons, at that point, that's when we start to become attuned to the oversoul's simultaneity. So you're not just experiencing this life, you're feeling bleed through from parallel incarnations, from soul fragments, and from the higher timelines that are merging. And that creates, that convergence creates this compression effect, like trying to download 100 movies all at once. The body just registers the time moving really fast or moving too fast. There's also solar plasma and photonic light influx that's happening. So the sun is no longer just offering warmth. The sun is actually transmitting codes, photonic keys of awakening, that accelerate both the light body and the temporal field. So these things happening. So as your crystalline structure receives more light, and the old dense timelines begin to collapse faster. And this collapse is experienced as a rushing of events or synchronicity stacking and a sense of, I can't keep up. This is why so many feel exhausted, disoriented, or overwhelmed, even when they've done the work, right? It's the effects of everything that's going on. We also have the collapse of those artificial time constructs. So much of what held Earth in a false rhythm was the Gregorian calendar, the 9 to 5 work times, and false timelines. And these are all disintegrating. They're, as synthetic overlays fall away, the organic time spiral is being restored. But during this transition, there's a chaotic compression. So the old patterns are shattering and new ones are not yet integrated. So this creates that illusion of time running wild. Think about how many people that you know of in the last 4 to 5 years who have completely left the work environment, the 9 to 5. How many people are starting to not live in weeks and years, but are starting to live in days and hours? I know that I'm somebody that does that. I don't look at at time the same way. I don't experience it the same way. So what can you do to help? Well, number one, you can anchor into true time. So sync your rhythms to celestial alignments like the new moon, the solstice solstices, the sidereal sun cycles, instead of artificial constructs, right? Rather than looking at tropical astrology that says that on this day every year, regardless of what the planetary alignments are, it becomes this particular season. So with true sidereal, it looks at the actual placement, the size of of each of the constellations within the sky, and the sun traveling through those particular points, and the moon entering into those points as well, rather than just taking it as it's this date, so it is here, regardless of whether it truly is. So working with those true measurements of time. Slowing the breath and expanding the now. So your breath is a timekeeper. And I've talked about this back when I was working in trauma and mental health, about how you can check in with your breath. And if your breath is up in your chest and it's fast, then you are either if you're up in your breath and it's fast, you're in a anxious state, you're chasing, or you're running, you're experiencing time at a faster rate, or you're in the future, you're not in the present moment. The other part is when it's up here and it's really slow, is then you're in the depression space. If you're connecting to your breath and your breath is down, it's down into your abdomen, then you're slowed down, you're in the present moment. So slow the breath to expand the now. And you can also, when you're slowing the breath, it tells the body we are safe, we are sovereign, and time is mine. And I'm in the now, I'm in control. So you can also ground into the earth's pulse. So walking barefoot, tending to herbs, sitting with with a tree, gardening, like weed pulling, doing all of those things. So just being in connection with Mother Gaia and the elementals, that's going to also connect you with the actual eternal time codes. The other part is working with the Christic time code. So using decrees like, I reclaim my rhythm from all distortions. I now anchor into the eternal organic time. I walk in sovereign synchronicity. And the other thing is to protect your temporal field. All of those, just like we shield our aura, we need to also be shielding time, right? So our time can be shielded from those artificial interferences that come from HARP, from timeline manipulation, and from psychic rush. So I'm going to speak a decree for you, and I hope that you join me by repeating it after. I'll try to speak it really slow so that you can say it right after me. Okay, so it is called, I now reclaim my rhythm. I stand now in the eternal flame of divine rhythm. I revoke all contracts with false clocks, distorted timelines, and synthetic grids. I return to the breath. Oh, wait, I missed one. I release myself from the grip of artificial acceleration. I return to the breath of prime creation, where all moments spiral in grace. I now seal my temporal field with the living light of the Christ. Above me, the golden ray of celestial time. Below me, the crystal heartbeat of Gaia's original pulse. Within me, the eternal rhythm of Oversoul harmony. I now anchor in organic time, whole, fluid, free. I align with my true celestial chronos, not the ticking of false constructs. I walk in sovereign synchronicity, in right timing, in right flow. I am no longer rushed. I am no longer late. I am the rhythm of God made flesh. So it is, so I breathe, so I walk. I love you.